We are thrilled to welcome NBA superstar, San Antonio Spurs point guard, philanthropist, and social activist, Chris Paul. Chris is a longtime NBA fan. I followed your basketball career, and it is a privilege to have you involved with this project. We know your mission to level the playing field for all students is aligned with ours, and we are so grateful that you've made time to chat today. On behalf of First Book and the Time for Change initiative, thank you for joining us and for promoting the 2024 Youth Challenge.
Oh man, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and a privilege. The Time for Change Youth Challenge is a great opportunity to spotlight and uplift the work being done by the youth. So I'm excited to meet a few of the young change makers from last year's challenge and learn about how they continue to grow their projects and impact. Right, so kids really impact and change the world. So I'm just happy to be here and be a part of it. So let's hear from the kids.
Hi, my name is Mischa Sekara. I'm a 12th grader from Houston, and I founded a 501c3 nonprofit organization called Happy Readers Inc., which promotes literacy around the world by donating books and sharing curriculum. It's great to meet you.
And hi, my name is Carolyn. I'm also a senior in high school from New Jersey, and I founded a Sustainable Future, or ISF for short. We are a data-driven, tech-enabled, and student-centered approach to academic print reduction, while also facilitating the growth of students as environmental advocates. It's so great to have you with us today.
So I'll tell you guys a few questions. My goal is to encourage more people to take action to change the world. You started doing that at such a young age. How did you adopt this mindset, right? You guys could be doing anything, but you turned your ideas into real world solutions. And that's not what kids are always doing. A lot of times kids are on their iPads or their machines, but you guys are really impacting change. How did this come about?
Well, from a young age, my parents and my grandparents have always encouraged me to try to change my community. It kind of started from my grandmother. She was a humanitarian at heart, and she was always very passionate and always encouraged me to try to change my community. Like, she built wells in Pakistan and was always trying to help the Asian community, especially in Houston. And so it was sort of with this encouragement from my family that I felt empowered to start Happy Readers and felt empowered to change the world.
For me, it was about focusing on the issues that I could see with my own eyes. It was realizing that you don't necessarily need to wait for someone else to speak up on an issue, because if you're seeing it, you can also tangibly make a difference. I'll give you an example. As a high schooler, I've never particularly been a stranger to excessive paper use. It's pretty much everywhere you look, whether that's in the classroom or the restroom or the cafeteria. But I never really noticed it, right? Until it was COVID-19 and we were at home, and all of a sudden I realized just how much paper we had been using all along and didn't necessarily need to be. But my school didn't seem to particularly care. And I was also shocked by the fact that after we got back into school, they suddenly started printing at what had been pre-pandemic printing levels. So that's why I decided to send that first email to my district's business admin. That's why I spent several months cleaning all that disgusting data. And that's ultimately why I decided to start a Sustainable Future. It's recognizing that you can make a difference in your community, even if it's not in the way that you initially intended. So even as print consumption studies soon became curriculum development, as I started pairing data with advocacy, it's realizing that you can make change, and you can also do it in so many different ways.
That is amazing. And as you guys hear and see, the Time for Change initiative is all about young people having their voices be heard, right? So my question to you guys is, seeing how driven you guys are and how thought-provoking you guys are, what would you guys tell your classmates or other fellow change makers, right, to have them get out in their community and try to make a difference? What type of advice would you give those guys? Mischa first.
Well, I would say just to start by finding what you're passionate about. In my case, I'm very passionate about reading. Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, you name it, I've probably read it. And from a young age, I've just really enjoyed reading. And so that's what encouraged me to start Happy Readers. But if I were to offer another piece of advice after that, I would say that everyone starts somewhere. And sometimes all you need to do is just to start. So the reason that I started Happy Readers is because my middle school teacher, he had hundreds, if not thousands of books that he was going to throw away because my school was no longer going to teach those books. And I went to him and I said, why would you throw away these books? Like, I can help donate these to schools in Houston. And it's just taking that first step and starting that I realized that everyone starts somewhere. And it started off with a couple books, a couple hundred books. And then over time, you could slowly grow and slowly expand. But it's about taking that first step and recognizing problems in your community that you're passionate about and finding ways to address them.
Mischa, I absolutely love the concept of having a catalyst moment, and I totally agree. You can start very small. I mentioned before that we had initially started as just me sending an email to my district's business admin, and in truth, even back when ASF was like nothing more than a collection of data cleaning spreadsheets, research forms, and proposals on a website, we were always meant to be as student-friendly as possible. I think there's a pressure associated with saving the environment, but I also think that actions don't necessarily need to be grand or bombastic to truly make an impact.
I'll tell you guys, man, hearing both of you guys' story, talking about how you have to start somewhere is so inspiring, right? I have two kids of my own who play athletics, and I think every day they think that they're supposed to wake up and be Michael Jordan or this great soccer player, but you have to start somewhere and you have to stack the days. And that's what I love hearing from you guys. And as a kid, I actually didn't love to read as much as my parents would have liked me to. But as I've gotten older, I've started to read and going to the practice facility. My new teammate, Wimby, he reads books a lot, right? So it's got me back into reading. And that's why I think it's so important to have a friend, have someone to look up to or to see what they're doing just to get you started. So I love that you guys said that. And this next question I ask you guys, like, it's so hard to be confident and be a leader at the same time, right? It's so hard to know what to do and to always have the answers. I was fortunate enough to win Rookie of the Year when I first came into the NBA, but it was a learning process. And throughout the entire process, I was thinking about other leaders. Who can I find? Who can mentor me? Who can help me to be the best version of myself? So I'd like to ask you guys, like, how do you guys seek guidance, right? Who do you look to for inspiration? Because I think that's important in trying to build. Carolyn, you go first.
Awesome. I think you actually hit the nail on the head. It's the fact that change making oftentimes isn't a solitary activity. You have to recognize that there's power in community, but more so that there are so many resources that you can access even outside of what you previously thought was your specific niche or was your specific community. For me, I definitely have to give a shout out to Miss Bauer, who was the former gifted and talented advisor at my school. At my school, we have a program where you're able to conduct independent research over the course of the school year. And she was the one who initially encouraged me to sign up for a gifted and talented class in my school. And I initially didn't think too much about it. I was thinking, if I couldn't publish this research somewhere or make it really, really important, then there was no point in taking a class where that was the main objective. But I slowly realized that it was because I was actually passionate about talking about printing and helping schools talk about printing and helping students talk to their schools about printing. That's why I initially decided to join. And Miss Bauer was really there, no matter what happened, to kind of help me puzzle through some of my more ambitious ideas. Last year, we actually hosted a climate convention at my school where we brought in a lot of guest speakers and had sustainable artisans come in, and we had sustainability workshops too. But her door was always open whenever I needed advice. And it's because of individuals like Miss Bauer that I know that I have the space to pursue what I'm really passionate about. And it's adults like that that I think every student deserves in their lives.
Love that.
And building off of that, I completely agree with what Carolyn said. And as I mentioned before, I feel like the main people that have had a tremendous impact on me and being a change maker would definitely be my family. Behind the scenes, behind all the photos of me going to schools for Happy Readers is my parents. They're the ones taking the photos, driving me, because unfortunately I still don't have my license, much to their dismay. And it's also, I would say, a lot of educators. I've met so many hundreds, if not thousands, of educators and who are very passionate about what they do and stay up for nights on end trying to figure out how they can get resources to their students. And that's actually how I found out about First Book, through one of these educators, because I feel like, especially the education community, everyone wants to help each other out. It's not an industry or a sector where people are trying to be better than each other, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together and we're all trying to promote education together.
Mischa, I absolutely love that. And I am going to hop back in really quickly, even though it isn't conventional, and say that I've definitely noticed how prevalent and important educators are for our youth on more than one spectrum. It's not only what you consider educators to typically be, these like purveyors and conveyors of information, but it's also the fact that you'll see them actively engaging with other initiatives at their school. So for ASF, finding that local champion who really cares about sustainability and wants to share that passion with their students is ultimately the reason why we've been able to work with so many schools. And it's also why we've been able to touch so many students. Educators like that, whether you have someone in mind or you're still searching for one, are so important. And I just truly am so appreciative of what they're doing for our students, and really believe that we should be giving them more support systems as well to be able to tangibly impact that many students in that significant of a way.
Man, well, listen, let me tell you, ladies, this has been amazing, like a breath of fresh air. And I'll just let you know that while you guys are out there doing the impressive work that you're doing, you inspired somebody else today, and that's me. Seriously, there's a lot of days where I'm in the gym and I'm training, and I have 2 kids now, and I'm constantly sort of busy doing this and doing that, and don't always get an opportunity to talk to the youth like you guys. And so to hear how driven, how passionate you guys are, it just seriously, it like one of my coaches used to say on days off, he say, fill your cup, just like do things to make yourself feel good. And this is one of them, because you guys are really making a change, and education initiatives are at the heart of my philanthropic work, because kids are so important, right? And leveling the playing field, because like you guys talked about, educators, everyone, when kids thrive as students, it encourages you to get out and make a positive impact in your community. So I wish you guys the best of luck in everything that you're doing. Continued support to all the rookies out there. It's never too early to be a leader. Start brainstorming your solutions and apply it to the Time for Change Youth Challenge today. So thank you guys so much for your time, and good luck. You have the power to make change.
Join me in making a difference.
I am a change maker.
Let's make a change together.